I have a question for you. Do you think it's a coincidence that some topics feel more fun to you, more natural to you, and that you're so compassionate about certain ideas? You might say, well, but I've read a lot about architectural theory and I've put a lot of time into practicing my presentation skills and my illustration skills. But what if even that is not a coincidence? Now, I want you to know that you have many different expressions within your ready. The only reason why it's sometimes difficult for you to figure out what you want is probably because you're trying to see the big picture instead of just trying to find one little outlet to express yourself.
During my time at architecture school, I was anxious so many times because I didn't really know what to do with my life. I knew I was passionate about so many things such as heritage and renovation, people, public speaking, motivational speaking, psychology, mindfulness, self-actualization, writing, film, music. But I just couldn't make sense of all of that. I really wish that I would wake up one morning and have this epiphany all of a sudden that I know exactly what I want to do with my life. But the problem is that this epiphany never happened, and it was only when I realized that it's not so much about the big goal, but more about my personal journey of expressing myself, that my path started to open up slowly. The problem is that often when we think about life, we tend to think of the big outcome, and we tend to think that this big outcome comes in a full package with a step-to-step manual on how to get there. But it doesn't work that way. But instead it starts out with, small hunches like, I love writing, or layouting is the most fun part of the project, or I'd love to help those people that have lost their houses in Hurricane Katrina.
Think of it like this. You are here and your big goal that you're looking for is here. And in between you just have this massive gap, in front of you. And many people look at this massive gap and get discouraged and drop their passion altogether or don't even get started. But if you think about it, this gap is actually the most beautiful part of the whole story, because that's where all your growth happens. And that's your journey of expressing yourself and growing and getting better and becoming wiser. Once you understand that, then the end goal becomes much less important, because it's already you who you are expressing through your passion. It's also about dropping your ego a bit more and just, letting the flow of life naturally lead you towards the things that are meant for you.
Let's look at 3 examples.
Number 1, let's say you love architecture and you would love to write. So instead of wanting to become this architectural journalist, why not simply find an outlet to write? Could be a simple publication for your study association at school, or opening your personal blog. And that way you also see whether you really like it and whether you want to turn it into your job. Number 2, let's say you feel very compassionate for the people that have lost all their houses in a natural disaster, and now you've somehow fallen in love with the idea of becoming the head of an NGO. It's a beautiful goal, but what you probably don't see is all the hard work that is involved. So why not start out by volunteering for a disaster relief program first, in order to see if you can really handle all that emotional pressure for a longer span. Number 3, let's say you want to become the best architect ever. Now, personally, I believe that's a very tricky concept and very ego-driven, because best is really an illusion and could cause you quite some frustration. So why not use a more subtle approach instead? So why not start out instead by already seeking out during school what kind of architecture lights up your heart. And then through the process, trying to express your character and your emotions through your designs. Architecture is really a wonderful tool to discover yourself through the design process, because ultimately the buildings and the landscapes that you design are your internal mirror. You know, they reflect your values and they reflect who you are. And once you feel stable and truthful to yourself, you will embody nothing but love, you know? And this embodiment of love will naturally find its way and manifest in your designs and touch people in ways that were beyond your imagination. The things that excite you are not random, but they are your calling. And your calling is rarely a grand gesture, but more like a simple expression. And it's geared towards who you are and what you can really do. The essence of your expression is your readiness and preparation of knowledge, and ultimately is the marriage of knowledge within you.
So, what's this simple expression within you that you think is who you are? Is it to change, to empower, to inspire, to help? Could be anything. And you know what? You know it already. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that this episode opened you up a bit more towards living your life in a soul-filled and soul-strengthening manner. I'd be super curious to hear from you how you like to express yourself, so let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to stay up to date for my next episode. And see you soon.